Hello and welcome back everyone, I am the Otaku, and today I'm going to teach you how to not suck at Princess Leia.
Our friends are counting on us.
First I'm going to cover the essential information that you are going to need to know, then stick around because I'm giving away all the best tactics on how to take care of those Imperial lapdogs and some proper princess etiquette. To start things off, Leia has the same movement pattern as any other infantry soldier, able to walk, sprint, strafe, jump, and crouch. What a lot of people don't know is that Leia also has the ability to roll around and potentially dodge enemy fire. This is done by holding the crouch button and then strafing to the left or to the right. However, to be honest with you, this tactic is gimmicky at best and not really all that helpful or effective in live combat situations. Moving on, Leia has 3 special abilities. The first one is Trooper Bane, a single burst of laser fire that kills stormtroopers in one shot, and will not only do damage, but also stun other villain characters. Next is the Enhanced Squad Shield. Much like the regular squad shield in that it blocks all laser-type projectiles, but is also upgraded to protect against some force abilities and is much larger in size. You can also shoot in and out of it using Trooper Bane, which is Leia's bread and butter combo technique. We will touch more on that in just a minute, but for now, keep in mind that non-blaster projectiles still go through the shield, so homing shot, cycler rifle, and explosives are still very dangerous, and you need to be aware of that. And last is Supply Drop, which drops power-ups onto the map for other players to use in regular game modes, and health boosts for other heroes in hero game modes. Do be mindful of where you place them because they can be stolen by the enemy team. This is especially dangerous in heroes vs villains because the drop will remain on the field until used or a few seconds before your ability comes back off cooldown. Then of course the princess does come equipped with an enhanced version of the E11 blaster. Let me go ahead and bring up the stats for this so we can see what that difference really is. Taking a look at the damage chart in the middle, Leia's E11, or Leia's Jack, starts off doing 50 damage per shot, and at 10 meters begins to drop down. By 60 meters the damage has dropped down to 25 per shot and stays there beyond that range. This means you can expect a 2-shot kill on infantry up to 20 meters, and then 3 to 4 shots for a kill past that point. All of the other stats are pretty much the same as the regular E11, so we won't be covering that in this video. However, if you do want to know more about it, then please feel free to check out my E11 blaster review, which is conveniently linked in the description below. So now that we've covered everything that you need to know, let's go ahead and talk strategy. Leia is designed to be used as more of a support character, but that doesn't mean that she can't push forward. In fact, she's probably the best hero in the game for holding down a position defensively or offensively. What matters the most here is the approach that you take when you are doing it. Ideally, you want to have both honor guards spawned and accompanying you wherever you go. You need to make sure that you are spawning pickups and health on every cooldown, and that you drop the squad shield constantly as you move around the map. Leia's best technique, as I mentioned before, is staying inside the bubble and using Trooper Bane from the inside to take out enemies while they cannot touch you. If you are not doing at least these very basic things, then you are doing it wrong. So move from one position to another, then stop, drop, and roll. It's very easy. Joking aside, there are a few things that I do need to make clear. The supply drop in normal game modes like Supremacy and Walker Assault does not spawn health, and therefore does reduce Leia's survivability and longevity. You also need to consider that Trooper's Bane's biggest strength is not its one-shot ability on infantry, but its ability to stun other heroes over and over each time you fire, making them very vulnerable to other people. Yet how often would you really get to face off against another hero in these normal game modes? Not that often. And then the last problem is, while her shield can be really great in the right situation, in a game mode with 20 enemies on the other team, they do have tons of explosives that they're going to spam at you, and the shield just doesn't count for as much that it needs to. No, I'm not saying that you can't or you shouldn't use her, or that you won't do good. I just think that most people will agree with me when I say that Han Solo or Luke Skywalker are much easier and much better options for most people and most situations. Playing as Princess Leia does require a lot of patience, critical thinking, and strategy to do well. Even the slightest mistake on positioning, or having bad players spawn as your honor guards, means completely getting destroyed before you can really make any use of her. The point is, it's very easy to suck at Princess Leia. So with that being said, just how do we not suck? The first thing you need to do is move together as a group with your honor guards. You have to decide to go from one position directly to another, and when you stop to engage with enemies, the first thing you should be doing is dropping that shield, dropping your pickups, and then rolling around and laughing as they try and shoot at you. Or, alternatively, you can kill them using your Trooper Bane from inside the bubble. The reality of the situation is that on normal game modes without her health regeneration, Leia is just another soldier and you have to play like it. Don't think that because you're a hero, you can run around tanking all this damage and being relaxed or playing stupidly, because someone can and will kill you very quickly with a well-placed cannon and a follow-up explosive shot. So always be defensive, play as smart as possible, play like you are always going to die. But the idea is just to prevent that from happening for as long as possible by being cautious. So essentially, the best way to play Leia on normal game modes is to play her just like you would an infantry soldier. So make sure that you are using all of the same strategies and techniques that I talk about in my videos, How to Not Suck at Infantry, Definitive Guide to Getting Better, and my FPS Aiming Guide. Those 3 videos will help you immensely in playing better as an infantry player and playing better as Princess Leia. Now, Heroes vs. Villains is a whole different ballgame. I love Princess Leia in this game mode because you can spawn the health, play more aggressive, and be confident. She can be an absolute monster in the right hands. I just wish they gave her the slave outfit so I could feel like a monster when she's in my hands. I mean, anyone else with me on this? The strategy for the game mode is like this. The first position where you start off and drop your shield is very important to the flow of the game because putting it in a bad spot could lose you the match very, very quickly. Instead, you want it in a place that's not only going to make it awkward for them to attack, but it's also going to make them vulnerable or exposed while doing so. There isn't really a golden rule either as to where to place it, but I ask myself these things. Does the area have quick access to physical cover for blocking explosives and other projectiles that the shield can't? Is there multiple ways that people can sneak up? Is there a clear and safe escape route? Does positioning here corner my team when they go to retreat inside of it? Next, you usually always want to place your health down because some tard gets smoked in the face with a pulse cannon at the start of the match. After that, the idea is to keep dropping them immediately when they come off cooldown and keeping yourself topped up, because if you wait until you are too low on health before you start to heal, chances are your teammates will be too, and you can't give it out to them. Do you know what I call a Princess Leia that doesn't give out health? A useless bitch, so don't be one of those. Like I mentioned, they can also be stolen by the enemy, so don't run off and leave it there unattended unless you know for sure that it's going to be safe. After that, what you do is going to depend on your team and what kind of player you are. You can follow team members into combat or sit back and set up a defensive base. Regardless of what you decide, Leia is going to perform best by being a stone's throw away while engaging in combat or providing support, as she does have a blaster for her primary weapon and will only get herself killed by other heroes if fighting up too close. A big mistake that I saw a lot of Leia players doing is fighting outside of their bubble or chasing down enemies, which makes them very exposed from all angles. So do try to keep yourself positioned in a way where you're using the shield to your advantage, you're not getting caught off guard, and remembering to always just ask yourself the questions that I brought up earlier about shield placement, and then you will be fine. The rest is just going to come down to your abilities as an infantry player and your team play with the other heroes. Like I said before, make sure to watch those other videos to help with the infantry combat. And then the best way to help out with other heroes is, like I already said, keep yourself topped up with the health so you can afford to give it to your team. Make sure you're a stone's throw away during combat so you can assist with Trooper Bane stuns. Don't position yourself in a crappy spot. Don't put your shield down in a crappy spot. And then, if you're bored and you have nothing to do, then roll around and have fun. That's all for today. Thank you to everyone for the positive feedback and support on my last video. I have already reached 2,000 subscribers after just a few days of releasing my 1,000 subscriber special. I do have a ton of more videos to come covering other heroes, star cards, loadouts, how to not suck at game modes, everything you can imagine, so stop asking me and just subscribe and then check back later. But until then, as always, may the Force be with you.